Hello everyone and welcome back to the final day of the 24-25 Optegra Championship, where you join myself, Ryan Sipple, alongside Troy Willicombe for Sale United versus Manchester City. Another important fixture on this final day. It's a game with plenty riding on it for very different reasons. For Manchester City, today could be decisive as they come into the match locked on points with Nottingham Forest near the foot of the table. And while their safety is not yet confirmed, any points here, even a draw, would put a crucial buffer between themselves and the drop zone. Meanwhile, it's quite the finish to the season for Sale United after a sensational double win yesterday. They come into this one full of confidence with one last target, finishing as high as possible, and a win here would see them leapfrog Leeds Dynamos in 5th place. Let's go through the squads very quickly before Troy and I bring you the action live. Sale United comprised of Jack Hassan, Daniel Holt, Jake Hudson, David D and Mason Davies. Disregard Joey Levine. Their coach is Jake Hudson. And for Manchester City, they are comprised of Jay Pixton, James Simpson, Kareem Ali, Lucas Veza O'Brien, Sebastian Spink, Oscar Spink and Stephen Miller-Whittaker. Troy, how are you?
I'm well, Ryan, yourself?
I'm very well. Looking forward to this one, the Manchester derby. Not the one people are used to, but one that could be really important nonetheless. As Sebastian Spink kicks off proceedings to go through the starting four in their entirety. Sale United have Jake Hudson, David D, Jack Hassan and Mason Davies. And Manchester City have Jay Pixton, they have Sebastian Spink, they have Kareem Ali and they have James Simpson. Give me your prediction.
For this one, I'm going to say a Sale victory. But I know how strong defensively Man City are, considering how young their side is. They stay disciplined and keep it minimal, but when they are on the break, they are dangerous.
There's no question about that. As Mason Davies can have an opportunity, puts it across the box. David D not there to meet it. One of the real encouraging factors of this City side is the defensive stability of Sebastian Spink and Jay Pixton. The more the season's gone on, the better they've got defensively. As we've had an early spell of pressure for Sale United. I think it's mathematically confirmed that they will finish this season above their close rivals and sister club Manchester United. Now it's just about ensuring they end this season as best possible. It's James Simpson battles away with David D.
May I add, David D's also had a brilliant weekend this weekend, being defensively strong.
It's almost par for the course, or has been, across the 24-25 season. He's been present in every single team of the weekend, whether that's the starting four or the substitutes bench. So the levels of consistency that he has exhibited have been incredible considering his young age. And he is one that will be in contention for many awards and accolades come season's end. But Mason Davies as well, the youngest player competing in the Championship division, has just slotted seamlessly into this side. And this I believe only his third ever weekend competing at National League level.
Wow.
You're seeing connections like that, techniques like that be executed so perfectly.
As I alluded to earlier, the defensive wall of City, not allowing Sale past, trying to work the ball behind the defensive pair.
Yeah, they're certainly being put to the test, and a potential break on via James Simpson. Sale United committing players forward. Kareem Ali in support. James Simpson has been a part of some really good goals this season. Looks like he's going to get another. And that he does. Fantastic stuff from City. Clinical, counter-attacking football. And James Simpson, once again, the player that puts the ball over the line.
Great technical skill there, showing great chair control, weaving it past David D, and then weaving it past Hudson in goal. Great chair control.
That could be a huge goal for Manchester City. Brilliant work from them against the run of play. But James Simpson does, or did, what he has done so all season. He's been there to capitalise up top if and when he's been presented the opportunity. And that, I believe, is his 4th goal of the season. Jack Hassan looking to spearhead an immediate equaliser. David D driving onto the ball, just wide. You obviously played Sale United yesterday. They're a really good side, aren't they? They're well organised, they're well drilled.
Very tough to get past, whether it's doing the passing game with David D, cutting out those passing lanes, or even the dribble game with Jack Hassan and David D. Two very strong dribblers, physically and mentally, in the sense of they can read where you want to put the ball or want to put your chair. It's very difficult to play against Sale. Kick in now for Man City, deep in their own half. Almost penned in.
James Simpson to take into Kareem Ali. Options on the bench for both sides. Single substitute for Sale United, that of Daniel Holt. For City, a larger complement at their disposal. Lucas Vezra-O'Brien, Stephen Miller-Whittaker and Oscar Spink. But this is great work from City, who just get better every weekend they compete at this level. Entered the National League in 23-24.
Kareem Ali now just gets dispossessed by Hudson. Charges up the pitch, but met by Spink around the centre circle, jockeying away for position. Hassan picks it off into Hudson. Back to Hassan. Back to Hudson. Ball just trapped between Simpson and Hassan's share now. Jockeying for position. The ball ricochets free for Hudson. Heavy contact between the pair. Now it's a direct free kick for Man City. Heavy contact by Hudson.
Yeah, good opportunity this for Manchester City to double their advantage. Just had Jay Pixton coming up to communicate his intentions with James Simpson. And Sebastian Spink into Kareem Ali, slightly square, guided across the box. James Simpson was waiting, but Jake Hudson there to thwart the danger. It's good work from Manchester City. James Simpson to take. Sebastian Spink, the closest option in the centre. They have to be wary of Jack Hassan. From one side of the court to the other. Out for a Sale United ball. Taken quickly by David D. Into Jack Hassan. James Simpson just to be cut, seems to be cutting out all potential passes and advancements of Sale United, performing a very important role beyond, obviously, his threat up top.
In a way, he's acting like a third defender, marshalling between their box and the centre circle, cutting out those passing lanes and ultimately creating the overload in at counter-attacks as well.
Mason Davies into the side of Sebastian Spink. Closely watched by Alan Murray, who will be on cloud 9 as the coach of Muscle Warriors. A slight lapse in concentration presents an opportunity to Jack Hassan. Over to Mason Davies, a sustained spell of pressure on the City goal.
Working the ball between the pair. Breaks out wide for Sale. Flicks it.
David Deal can't quite get the purchase, so nice play from James Simpson. Should just angle his chair to keep it in play, keep the pressure on David D. It's a very brave form of football from Sale United. They are really insistent on committing 3 players high up the court, and all the while they do that, there will be potential opportunities to break via a counter-attack for Manchester City.
Pixton well cut out by the City keeper. Breaks for Kareem Ali.
Good work from Jake Hudson, just to nip that attack in the bud. Still there, nice pick off from Kareem Ali. James Simpson back to Kareem Ali, very unselfish, an attempt on goal. Going to be scooped up by Jake Hudson, but brilliant work from Manchester City. The coaches on the left-hand side of the court constantly applauding their team's efforts. Really impressed with James Simpson so far.
Well cleared by Spink. Just relieving some pressure on that City defence now. Allowing them to reshape, regroup. David D to take the resulting kick in around the halfway line. Assessing his options. Chooses to go down the line. Full rotation, saved.
Nice, cute little back bumper pass from Sebastian Spink, sets Kareem Ali away. David D overcommits, and Jake Hudson called into defensive responsibilities. End-to-end stuff here. 10 minutes in, Sale United 0, Manchester City 1.
Hassan now counters, but Kareem Ali close by. So kick in taken quickly by David D. Shot on target, flag signals. 3 in the box signalled by assistant official Steve Crump. Free kick now for Sale on the edge of the area. Looks like Jack Hassan to take, with David D sandwiched in between the City defence.
Please disregard the scoreline on your screens. Manchester City are 1-0 up against Sale United. And it's probably no less than they deserve.
Free kick for City now. Pixton to take, assesses his options. Plays a wide ball out, but cut out by D. Spink and D now battling away on the far corner. Little touch between the pair. Flicks out for Hassan. Full rotation. Picks off to D. Saved by Pixton off the line. David D now gets some separation. Flicks out to Hassan. Shot saved by the City wall. City kick in right in the corner. By the sounds of it, Alan Murray just giving David D a final warning. May have just went off the court to avoid a 2-on-1 possibly. Simpson to take the resulting kick in deep in their own half. Takes his time. Simpson plays it into Spink. Full rotation into the side of D's chair. David D mops up. Plays it back to Hassan. Hassan now. Heavy contact between Hassan and Simpson. Looks like a contact foul in favour of Sale. Simpson just comes in a little bit too heavy into the side of Jack Hassan's chair.
Yeah, good opportunity for this for Sale United. Not much time left in this half. It seems to be fast vacating them. Quickly taken by David Dee. I don't think even Mason Davies was set to capitalise, but they're exchanging some short snappy passes on the edge of the Manchester City box.
Jay Pixton now trying to get City out of their own half. But David Dee is like a magnet to that ball, following it everywhere it goes. Well controlled by Jack Hassan to keep it into play. Now Sale on the break. Hassan slows the ball down, plays it into D. Switches it to Davies, but cut out by Spink. Ball to Kareem Ali. David Dee. Full rotation pass. Hassan.
Please disregard the scoreline. Manchester City are a goal up against Sale United. Sale United desperately trying to get back in this game, but the defensive efforts, most notably Sebastian Spink and Jay Pixton, has been complemented by clinical, hard-working, attacking players in Kareem Ali and James Simpson.
Kareem Ali to take the resulting kick in. Says this is his options, goes down the line, but cut out by Hassan. Ball to Spink, ball rotation. Finds Simpson millimetres away there from making contact.
Yeah, brilliant football. The 180 from Sebastian Spink, a trademark to his game, was nearly met and matched by James Simpson, who tried to replicate it on this bottom left-hand corner. Some fantastic football from Manchester City, it must be said. Don't look overwhelmed by this barrage of pressure. And they're very good value for this 1-goal lead. 4 minutes to go. Just that single James Simpson goal separating the two.
And the ball rolls out for a Sale goal kick. I think the City players thought it was fully out of play.
Here's one for you, Troy. Court A, AFC Bournemouth Warriors 1, Teesside Steel 1.
Oh, very tight game.
Very tight game. One that would have huge significance for the potential race for the third place playoff. And whilst a draw would be enough for Teesside Steel to leapfrog Villa due to that more favourable goal difference, it would mean that that race for third would be confirmed in each of their respective last games. Kareem Ali here with a corner kick. Sebastian Spink the closest option. James Simpson at the back post into Sebastian Spink, guided goal bound. Not a great deal of power to trouble David Dee, who cuts out the option and the outlet of James Simpson. And that's really experienced play for an inexperienced player there, James Simpson, just to let that roll out of play. 2.5 minutes left of this first half. And what a brilliant half of football it's been.
Simpson strikes. Closed down by the Sale defence. Bit of miscommunication there by the City players. Breaks free. Only to Davies.
Slight mistake there from Jack Hassan. No doubt was looking for either David Dee or Mason Davies, but gifted possession back to Kareem Ali, and they just seem out of ideas a little bit. Sale United, tales of frustration setting in. But for that, you have to give all the credit to Manchester City. They're the ones fragmenting it. They're the ones frustrating them.
with just over a minute to go until half-time. Both sides opening up well. Davies, shots saved by Pixton, but collects a loose ball. Works it in this far corner now.
I think the fact that this is probably the longest spell of involvement Jay Pixton has had all half tells you everything you need to know about the resilience and the collective effort of Manchester City. He's been very well insulated in that Manchester City goal. Mason Davies is going to test him now. He's going to try and squeeze the ball between Sebastian Spink and Jay Pixton. Spink just readjusts. He's going to try and go behind him. But well read by the Manchester City number 17. Final minute of the first half. Can David D and co summon something they haven't been able to do in the 19.5 minutes we've played and register a goal? Jack Hassan in a nice position in the centre, meets the ball, blocked by Sebastian Spink, and James Simpson is going to just relieve pressure on his defence and guide it from his defensive half into Sale United's. It's been a great half of football, hasn't it?
Very much has, end-to-end opportunities for both sides. Very strong defensive performances by both sides as well. I would love to be a fly on the wall in both of these team talks at half-time.
I think what's apparent to me is the fact that Sale United are playing for pride, they're playing for position. Manchester City are playing for safety, for championship status, and that is the biggest tell and very evident from that first 20-minute half. Manchester City doing everything they can to claw away from the jeopardy spots. I showed the live league table so you can see what a potential 3 points would do. Manchester City would go up to 14 points and would have a 3-point buffer over Nottingham Forest, each with a game to play. And when we're referencing the specific fixtures that will conclude their 24-25 season, Manchester City's last game of the season is against bottom of the table AFC Bournemouth Warriors. So if you're a Nottingham Forest fan, supporter, player, you're hoping Sale United can summon something in this second half to reverse this scoreline in their favour. When you're referencing Nottingham Forest, their last game of the season comes against Sale United. So Sale United are going to have a really big part to play in who could potentially be drawn into that championship playoff structure competition scheduled Saturday, June 14th. But thank you to all that are tuning in, to myself and Troy. We will be back very shortly for the second half. Hello everyone and welcome back. Second half in this fixture between Sale United and Manchester City, currently separated by a single James Simpson goal for City. We spoke about the significance of a potential 3 points and what that would do for City's aspirations of ensuring that they're playing their football in the Championship in the 25-26 season. But Sale United looking to resume the same sort of pressure we saw across the first half. They have made a substitute, however, trying to switch things up tactically to try and ensure the scoreline goes in their favour. Daniel Holt on, Mason Davies off. Good first half of football, Troy. Give me your thoughts on what's to be expected in the second.
I think it's going to be a half of still end to end. I think City's going to focus on counter-attacking more again. But Sale, they must be frustrated after that first half. They had some chances, but City's defence was just solid. So I think Sale's going to try and up their game fast, score a goal to break the nerves and the tension and try and get this win.
Got an opportunity to have a chance now. David D into Jack Hassan, left, but no one there to capitalise. I think he thought Daniel Holt was a little deeper than he actually was.
Simpson into Spink.
The teams of Manchester City unchanged, that finished the first half. Jay Pixton, Sebastian Spink, James Simpson and Kareem Ali.
Spink falls to Kareem Ali. Spearheading the attack now down the right flank. Met by David D.
Kareem Ali and James Simpson have both been really effective at just forcing their side up the court. David D switches the play, but no one there to receive.
The tempo is definitely picked up in the first 3 or so minutes in the second half. Both sides equally wanting to win. Cut out by Hassan.
Last time these two met, just a single goal proved the difference. David D back in February securing 3 points for Sale United. Worth noting that Sale haven't lost in the league since April. I don't think it would be unfair to say that this would be an unexpected result based on momentum, based on positions in the table.
Goal kick for Sale now. Be taken by Jake Hudson to relieve some pressure.
Hudson down, blocked by Kareem Ali.
Jake Hassan controls the ball. Goes to David D. Back to Hassan now. Little touch. Misses the full rotation. But picked up by Daniel Holt. Spink and Hassan now battling on the edge of the City box. Hassan gets the better of Spink in the initial exchange. Spink does well to usher that out of play. Now they have to defend this kick in for Sale. D into Hassan, saved by Spink.
Reads the game so well, Sebastian Spink. A potential break on for James Simpson and Manchester City. There's always a bravery about City. They've committed these two players forward in attack, which does or has led to some overloads for Sale United. but they seem to be managing it so well. They really started to find that balance between risk and reward. And they're not sitting back on this 1-0 scoreline. They are seeking those opportunities to inflict further damage. It'll be very interesting to see how this switch up changes things. James Simpson and Kareem Ali coming off. Oscar Spink and Lucas Veza O'Brien coming on.
Veza O'Brien just not meeting the requirements of the 5 metres.
Have to say that them 25 or so minutes from James Simpson and Kareem Ali, absolutely brilliant.
Daniel Holt just vacates the space for Jack Hassan now. D into Hassan, saved off the side of Pixton's chair. Ball breaks free for a Sale kick in.
Obviously, they've switched things up, but the defensive pair of Sebastian Spink and Jay Pixton remains. Straight away, their defensive stability and duties will be tested into David D. Pressured by Lucas Veza O'Brien. Flicked to the edge of the box. Daniel Holt, pick off back to David D. Across the face of goal. Jack Hassan's going to have an effort.
Saved by Spink.
Despite the appeals of David D, it will be a goal kick for Manchester City. 27 minutes played. Sale United 0, Manchester City 1.
Goal kick. Be taken by Pixton into Spink. Left for D. Hassan now, pick off on the face of goal. D. Full rotation by Hassan.
It's going to put pressure on Jake Hudson as the most defensive Sale United player. He's been very isolated the majority of this half, but he's confident and assured in his actions. He'll be tested again now, pressured by the recently introduced Oscar Spink.
Dean Spink now battling away in the corner. Ball breaks free for a City kicking. Can they capitalise?
Oscar Spink with the kick in, looking towards his brother Sebastian in the centre.
Red.
Go on.
Red by Hassan. Dribbles his team up the pitch now.
It's confirmation of the score on court 8. Teesside still have got the 1-goal advantage now. So have nearly locked up that 3rd place position, and that follow-up effort could have caused some real issues, but good angling from Jay Pixton. I think there's just, within this game, there's just been a tendency to overplay it ever so slightly. That one pass too many. I'd like to see some of those Sale United players be a little bit more selfish in front of goal, because Jay Pixton and Sebastian Spink are so well drilled, so well organised. Lucas Veza O'Brien with his first real involvement. Jack Hassan dispossesses. There's a calmness, there's a maturity about Manchester City that is really impressive. You've highlighted how young the average age is, Troy.
It's good to see so many young players having such a good mentality, behaviour, and I would love to see where they come going forward.
So Jay Pixton with the goal kick. Down to Lucas Veza O'Brien. I would have liked to seen him stay in reverse then. Had he done so, he wouldn't have lost the momentum, turning to face the goal, and would have caught up to it.
Substitution made. Daniel Holt off. And Mason Davies on.
Ten minutes left to try and influence this result. Can Mason Davies be that player for Sale United? It's a good pass. Mason Davies straight away since his reintroduction has an effort saved by Jay Pixton. Such a mature player, Jay Pixton, really being tested now as Mason Davies very persistent in his pursuit of that equaliser. Has to be careful of contact. Alan Murray overseeing the action as our referee. Laser focus and concentration, ensuring there is no infringement on the laws of the game.
Finds space now, flicks it to David D. D across the box to Hassan, but cut out by Pixton.
Ricochet falls kindly to Oscar Spink. Have to be careful of 2-on-1 placements. David D quickly back to cover. End-to-end stuff. Guided goal bound by Mason Davies. The follow-up, Ricochet just wide of the right-hand post. Goal kick, Man City. Brilliant defensive work.
Pixton assessing his options. Spink just trying to block off David D from intercepting the ball.
Yeah, David D not too happy with the contact with Sebastian Spink. The goal kick to be taken by Jay Pixton. Sebastian and Oscar Spink towards the right. Lucas Veza O'Brien in space on the left. Mason Davies comes to collect. Over to David D. Just doesn't quite make the timing and/or connection.
Goes out for a City kick in. Just around the halfway line now. To be taken by Spink for Man City. Oscar Spink to be specific. Assesses his options. Got his brother centrally. Lucas Veza O'Brien as an attacking outlet.
Across the court, Lucas Veza O'Brien attempts an effort at goal. Wide. I think Lucas Veza O'Brien is still chasing that first ever National League goal. As is Oscar Spink, I believe. All of Manchester City's goals this season have come via James Simpson, Sebastian Spink, Kareem Ali, or own goals from the opposition. So Lucas Veza O'Brien, Stephen Miller-Whittaker and Oscar Spink yet to make their mark in the National League for Manchester City.
Mason Davies trying to pick up that loose ball. He does well. Goes out for a Sale kick in, just on the edge of the Man City area.
Substitute. Oscar Spink, I don't think is overly pleased to leave the court, having not long been introduced to the action, but Stephen Miller-Whittaker will feature for the first time this game.
David D just telling Mason Davies where he would like him. D. Picked out by Pixton.
An assured clearance from Pixton. Two Manchester City players just colliding into each other. Stephen Miller-Whittaker was so focused on the ball there, he disregarded the placement of Lucas Veza O'Brien. There's poor communication between the two on a potential breakaway as well. Real baptism of fire for Miller-Whittaker. But free kick for Sale United to be taken by Jake Hudson. Very brave, commits forward to all four players of Sale United in the half.
3 in the box signals.
Yeah, there's just a lapse in concentration ever so slightly from Man City, and I have to emphasise that is relatively speaking. The levels have been so high across the entirety of this game They won't want to give Sale United any easy opportunities to register opportunities on goal. So indirect, he's taken by David D. Jack Kassan on the left, David D's right. He opts to pick number 17 mate across the face of goal, cleared by Jay Pixton. Nice angling of his chair to set Lucas Veza O'Brien away. Jake Hudson committing forward, over to Jack Kassan, guided across the box to Mason Davies. Pick off to David D, returns the favour, but brilliant cutout play from Sebastian Spink. Really high intensity end to this game. 4.5 minutes to go.
Hudson coming out of his area now, all 4 players in the Man City half.
Risk versus reward. Miller Whittaker, had he angled it goal bound, could have very easily set his team away to secure their second goal of the game.
Hassan, cut out by Spink.
Man City have been absolutely brilliant this game. They've absorbed a lot of attacking pressure from Sale United, but have remained resolute defensively as Lucas Veza O'Brien just sensibly fragments the passing lane between Hassan and David D. Miller Whittaker's going to have to vacate the space if Lucas Veza O'Brien advances any further up the court. But Sale United ever so slightly look out of ideas.
Sale ball. Hudson to take. All 4 Sale players in attacking positions now, with Hassan as the deepest. Cleared by Pixton into the path of O'Brien.
I have to say, Jay Pixton this game has been absolutely brilliant.
I would love to see his pass percentage from out the back.
Just cutting his interceptions and then breakaway passes, as you said.
Miller Whittaker to take. Just assessing his options. Lucas Veza O'Brien centrally. Into the side of David D's chair. Stephen Whittaker with a strike.
Switch of play from David D. I think the 2-on-1 was awarded in favour of Sale United. Nearly 2 minutes left. Can Sale United summon something special? It's going to have to be something special, I think, to bypass Jay Pixton and Sebastian Spink, who have been a brick wall at the back. This is a Sale United squad flying high with momentum.
Hassan trying to take it past Pixton, but create separation. Back to D. But Pixton just cuts out that ball.
Good communication from David D, just to tell Mason Davis to vacate this bottom left-hand corner, the right wing, as Jack Hassan swipes into the side of Lucas Veza O'Brien there. I think Alan Murray just conversing with Steve Crump. I think it will be Jack Hassan deemed the aggressor. But just trying to understand the referee's decision. It's heavy contact either way. Lucas Veza O'Brien just positioning himself in a place that ensured Jack Hassan couldn't pull the trigger. So good work from Veza O'Brien. And that clock is very quickly dwindling down to the 40-minute mark. And barring some very late drama, Troy, Manchester City are going to come away with one of their best ever wins in the National League. Absolutely. That is understatement of the century. The organisation, the clinicalness, have to commend James Simpson and Kareem Ali in that first half. They were absolutely brilliant. I'm going to ask you for your player of the match, but just as a footnote, I don't know who you choose between Sebastian Spink and Jay Pixton if you were to choose one of those, because they have been solid as a rock.
I would have to go for Jay Pixton. The amount of the clinical breaking line passes, constant communication with his teammates, defensively solid as well. Great performance.
Still chance for a very late Sale United opportunity. We're now into additional time. Obviously we had a slight stoppage a minute ago, and a corner kick.
Corner ball for Sale.
Can they capitalise? Can they make it count? It would be heartbreak for City. Even a point for them, though, would help safeguard their position. Over to Mason Davies at the back post. Well saved by Jay Pixton, the player of the match as deemed by Troy Willicombe. He's going to get a second effort across the box. David D returns the favour. Again, this plays into what I was talking about a minute ago. Just the tendency to overplay things, which gives Sebastian Spink and Jay Pixton the opportunity to reset.
Even if the shot was saved, the shot would go out for a ricochet of a kick in, a corner. They could reset, regroup. It's worth the risk.
Keep an ear out for the potential roars of jubilation from the Man City contingent on the mezzanine above. They are going to be victors of this one, barring a very late chance, but good ricochet off Sebastian Spink's chair, prevent it from reaching Jack Kassan. Whistle in the mouth of Alan Murray. Jake Hudson tries to defend, not before. Alan Murray blows the whistle for full time. A sensational win for Manchester City, and I think that will all but confirm their spot in next season's championship. Let's show you the live league table so you can just see how significant it was. That puts them on to 14 points, and of course, because they have a far more favourable goal difference than that of Nottingham Forest, that all but mathematically ensures that they will be a championship side in 25-26. Thank you, Troy.
Thank you, Ryan.
Next up on Court B, Leeds Dynamos versus Villa Rocket Lions.